Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to Basics, the series where I show you how to make some nice simple bases for your miniatures. And in today's episode I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple Highland base. Now, when I first posted these bases on social media, I got quite a few responses from people saying that, you know, they thought they looked really cool and how did I make them. And this is genuinely the simplest base I think you can make. Obviously, if you base around your miniature and you're going to just dip in grass and things like that, that's obviously a little bit simpler. But for a detached separate base, this is taking it all the way back to very basic tools, very basic skills. You don't even have to paint it. But depending on how you add your final touches to it and put your flowers on and things like that, you can make some really incredible results from this. So this video is only going to be 5 minutes, but I think you'll enjoy it. So let's head to the table and I'll see you in a bit. So as I said, this is a very simple base and it's another one of my no paint bases. Now there are options you can do if you prefer to spend a bit more time and you want to put some extra details on, or if you want to paint them. Because what I found is that this is the slate that I mainly tend to use, and it's the Warlord games, Battlefields and Basing. This slate looks pretty good just stuck onto a base. You don't need to paint it. But if you wanted to, say, add some colour to it, if you wanted to make it look frosty, or if you wanted to make it look like it was covered in algae by using green pigments and things like that, then you could make this base using a white pumice, put this on, and then spray it and do all your painting and your dry brushing. But I wanted this to be a little bit quicker. So the first thing we need to do is make our base a bit more textured, and normally what I'd use for that is Citadel's Stirland Battlemire. However, I have run out of Stirland Battlemire and I can't afford to get any more at the moment, so I am just going to use Armageddon Dust. It's another one of their kind of gritty texture paints. I don't normally use this, but I wanted to get this video made, so we'll see what happens. It might come out quite well. But it's just to give you an idea of what we do. So yeah, this stuff is a little bit runnier than the Battlemire, but it's still got that nice gritty texture. So we're just going to put this on without any need to be neat. And just splat it down. And spread it all the way to the edges. And then, once you've got it all covered, we're just going to take our piece of slate and position it, whoops, try not to get the paint on it, and position it roughly in the middle. And then what I try and do is press it down just at one end, so you've got this angle to it. And the reason for that is that you get quite a lot of miniatures that are kind of posed as if they're standing on a slant, or if they're kind of stepping upwards. And I find that if you make the platform you're putting them on too flat, the whole effect is just a bit flat. Whereas if you angle this, it just makes the whole look a little bit more dynamic and like there's some natural movement there. So we're going to leave this to dry. I usually try and leave it overnight just to make sure, and then we'll come back and finish it off. So all we need to do now with this one is add some tufts and flowers. I told you it was an easy one. So all I'm going to do is these are just some cheap tufts I got from eBay. And I'm just going to squish them in around there. So with this, you can literally do whatever takes your fancy. You can use just tufts, you can use just flowers, you can leave bits of earth showing, however you want it to look. I just find that by texturing the base and adding the rock on there, just gives it a little bit more than just using static grass or flock. And then I've got these flowers by Mini Nature. And these are quite cool because they kind of colour change. And all you do is you just tear off the little bit that you want. So I quite like these for this. So let's put some of this under there. The only problem with this is that it's not particularly adhesive. So sometimes you've got to take it off and glue it, but for the purposes of the video, I think we will manage. And we'll take a little bit of the white and squeeze that round there. And then a little bit more of the purple. Nope, yep, that one doesn't want to stick. But as I said, because you can use whatever you want for this, you can use just self-adhesive ones if you like. I just happen to like the colours that this comes in. There we go. And then I'll just finish it off with more grass. I think what I'll do with this one is slice it in half. Using a hobby knife. Stick that in there. And then that little bit goes in there. Actually, yeah, we need to glue this one as well. And there we go. So, a non-paint Highland rock flower base. Now, I think this would look, these kind of bases would look brilliant for something like Burrows and Badgers by Oathsworn. That's a skirmish tabletop game based around anthropomorphic animals. I've never actually played it. But I know a lot of people who do, and having seen the minis, they are absolutely amazing. So if you haven't already, I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. And if you do decide to invest in it, maybe make some of these bases. So that's it. It really is that simple. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And that way you'll get notified whenever I release new content. My Facebook and Instagram links are down in the description, and feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll be back on Saturday with another All About That Base video. But until then, happy hobbying.